Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. How are you today? So, I don't know that I've done a reading for you before, so I'd like to explain real quick how this works. I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. I try to describe the picture the best that I can. Um, they never waste a message. There is always a reason for whatever they show or say. So if it doesn't make any sense now, keep it in mind. You'll either remember it later, see it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later. Go, oh, I know what he's talking about. So this is not an exact science. Sometimes you got to stretch it outside the box a little bit. He's not going to give me all the details. Details are none of my business. He should give me just enough so you understand what he's talking about. So it's his show, it's his ball game. I let them do anything they want to within reason. So we're going to talk to Keith today, and he's first he comes in and kind of like matter of fact going, "I love you," just like you should know that. Like, of course I love you. He says you've been really stressed out about something lately. Something's really digging at you. Something's really kind of gnawing at you. Something about Mother's Day too, and I don't know if that's associated with the what he just said or not. Um, and sometimes they just throw words out there. Something just really kind of pulling you down. He wants you to know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and he's not talking about him going through the tunnel to the white light like they all say. Well, they don't say that to me, but like people say. There will be light at the end of the tunnel. Just be patient. It's happening. It's in the works. Don't stress about it so much. It's all going to work out. It's all going to play out the way that it needs to play out. So he's showing me, I'm going to say it looks like a magnolia flower. It's one of these, it could be like a lotus. Where's my lotus necklace? No, that's not a very good picture of a lotus, but it's my necklace. But he's showing me one of these flowers, that kind of cups upwards and opens up like that. I feel like it's more like magnolias are on a tree. Let me see if we figure out why we're showing this. He's showing it open, then he's showing it just opening up more and more and more. Not sure where he's going with this. Like I said, they never waste a message. There's always a reason. More like a lotus. So I don't know if you have lotus flowers around where you live. You may have one. You may have one in a fake bouquet. It doesn't matter where it's at. Know that that will be a sign from him. And there's more to it than that, though. So anyway, you can see this lotus. You can see it in Walmart. You can see it on TV. You can see it in a magazine, on a billboard. Doesn't matter where you see it. That's a sign from him. When you see it, validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and ask him to bring you more. Ask him to bring you more signs. That's your free will choice. Let him know that you want signs from him, if that's what you want. But there's also when my medium friend gave me this necklace, this is where we're going with this. She said, lotus, a lotus sits on top of a bunch of muck in the pond. It can be a yucky, yucky pond. And yet, there's all this muck below, there's all this muck in their life, and yet it opens up to be this beautiful flower on top of all the muck, which was really cool the way she said that. So no, even if there's some tough stuff going on, that there's still that beauty there. There's still that beauty on top. He says there's still that beauty within you. Reach for it. You've kind of let that go. You need to reach for that beauty within you. And he says, to hell with everyone else. Reach for the beauty within you. Stop worrying about them having to validate you. Validate yourself. You're a beautiful person. And I love you. And I know you're a little lost. Again, he's showing the light at the end of the tunnel. Not that you're going towards the white light. That's this tunnel. White light has nothing to do with that. And he says you are that beautiful, beautiful flower on top of the muck. So it, muck can be just somebody said some bad words to you. It doesn't have to be like all this big, horrible, life-changing muck. It could be just some words that hurt you or something. But he wants you to see a different side of it. He wants you to see that you're this beautiful flower. He said he needs you to look within yourself and find that beautiful flower, because it's there. And it's funny because sometimes they kind of ask me to pull a card for you. And surrender your ego. This is what, from him to you, this is what he feels like you need to release. Surrender your ego, cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility furthers your goals. And I never think this card is about you've got a big ego and you're an asshole. That's not that kind of ego. Ego actually protects you from things. Ego stops you from doing certain things. It's more about cultivate your gratitude. Cultivate your gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. It's not about the big house, the big car. And this is, I don't have the words to express how I feel. He feels so strongly for you that he feels like there's just not enough words. There aren't good enough words. There aren't enough words to express how he feels. And he says he sees your value. He sees your value and wants you to see your value. Be kind to yourself, he says. And he's showing somebody rub your feet, so I don't know if he's wanting you to find somebody to rub your feet or you need to go get a pedicure or something to let them rub your feet. Treat yourself. Be all you can be. He's really trying to pump you up. So know that, I don't want to say this. I always tell people, if Uncle Joe didn't have a pot to piss in, don't ask Uncle Joe for financial help once he gets up there, because he doesn't understand how it works here. So how can Keith help you with finding your value? Or what was he good at in that area that he's stressing right now that you need? Asking for help. None of them can override your free will choice. If you want help, you have to ask, and then you have to be willing to accept what steps forward, what opens up in your life next. But you do have to ask. So asking for help, something he would understand here, something he was good at, even if it's just love and support, I promise you 1,000% he can hear you, he can see you. Talk to him all you want to. Asking for help with finding your value. And he says, and the gratitude for being grateful for what you have, even though you don't think it's enough. It's all that you need right now, in this moment, in this time. And he says he wants to help you with that. So, I mean, what do you got to lose? Ask him, and then just see what happens. You'd be amazed at what they can do. He says something about a farmer. And like I said, sometimes they just throw words out. I don't feel like he was a farmer, but something about a farmer. So if there's a farmer around you that you know, you might pay a little more attention to whoever this is. There's something that they have for you, and I don't mean like money or physical object, but something to help you along this way. So don't just pay a little more attention to whoever the farmer is that you might know. Okay, so smells, sounds, electronics, things like that are easy things for them to, I hate to say manipulate, but you know, if you had a big boulder in your living room and you asked them to come help you move it, that's probably not going to happen. But there was a smell about him, and I'm not talking about BO, like a musky, like a male smell, maybe even smoky. I don't really smell smoke, but it kind of smells smoky. Smell about him. So you will smell this. You can be in your car, you can be outside, you can be in your home. It doesn't matter where you're at. You get that little whiff of, and immediately he's the first person you think of. Know that that's him, just kind of popping in, say I love you, checking on you, making sure you're okay. He says he does that a lot. I don't know if he does the smell a lot, but he does that a lot. Check in on you. Give him permission. That's up to you. A lot of times I see them like showing that they stand over in a corner to go to, let's say, their child's house, and they stand over in the corner because they're afraid to step forward. They don't know if they'll be welcome. They don't want to scare them, things like that. So give him permission if you want to, whatever you feel comfortable with. But it does help to let them know it's okay. You've seen him in some way. You know, you've seen him in your dreams. Part of seeing him in your dreams is a deep longing to see him. The other part, um, when you dream about one of your loved ones that left, if when you dream and you open your eyes, it kind of starts fade. Your dream starts fading as soon as you open your eyes. But a true visitation, I had mine like 8 years ago. I still remember every word, every sound, every picture on the wall, everything that was said. That's a true visitation. When remember their color, their shoestrings. That's a true visitation. And there is a difference, but true visitations don't come very often. I don't know why. I don't know if it takes more of their energy or it takes more of you being bonded in with that. I don't know exactly sure why, but it doesn't happen very often. So he wants you to know either it has or it's going to happen. But ask him, give him permission. He says you're a little bit scared of this stuff. As far as doing this work, I've never found anything negative, never found anything evil. Again, he says very matter of fact, I love you. Just kind of like it's accepted. It's okay, I love you. I just do. He's not being very mushy about it. Okay, he's saying he's a hop, skip, and a jump away, and he snaps his fingers and he goes, "It's just that quick. Just call on me. I can be there." We don't have this heavy body, so it doesn't take us forever to get somewhere. We're pure energy when we leave. Um, our soul, our spirit, is just pure energy. We can be anywhere we want to in a split second. So do not be afraid to call on him. You are not, he says, you are not interrupting him. He does have things he's learning up there about his soul's growth, but you are not interrupting. Some people think, well, if I talk to him all the time, and I keep asking them to be here with me, that they can't go. I'm holding them down here, that they can't go do what they need to do, whatever that is. And then I'm keeping them here, stuck on Earth. No, you're not. You can't tie a rope on them. You can't tie a rope on energy. So it doesn't work that way. They can go anywhere they want to. Well, I don't know where you live, but he's showing me a little kid and him in a sled. But it's kind of one of those, doesn't have to be exact. This might be one you have to stretch outside the box. It's just one of those that you kind of unroll, and it's just kind of a like hard foam, maybe not hard, but foam sled that you just kind of sit on or lay on, and just a little thin like foam thing. That's the way he's showing it, but he could be showing it that way to me because I would recognize that as a sled. Of course, there's several other kinds he could have shown me, but anyway, it can be exact. It may not be exact. That's what I'm trying to get at. So there's probably a memory for him. I asked them to at least validate themselves a couple times so you know for sure that you're talking to your loved one. He says you'll know, but you will question it, and that's okay. Okay, now he's showing a big roast with the strings around it. I don't know if you just recently had one of these, cooked one of these, just bought one of these. This was his favorite food. Again, this is one of those where you'll know whether it was his favorite food and he's trying to validate himself, or you just recently had or bought one, something along that line. I know that sounds a little wishy-washy, but it's just the way it works. Of course, carrots and potatoes. Actually, I have one, a pork roast in my crock pot right now, but it doesn't have a string. He's he's talking about a wild bronco, but I feel he means a Ford vehicle bronco. I don't know. Did he have a bronco? Do you have a bronco? Was Did he have one years ago that he loved a lot that he wished he hadn't gotten rid of? Anything like that along that line. He's talking about a wild bronco. I think he's talking about some wild times in the bronco or with the bronco or at that time in his life when he had the bronco. He's got a big smile on his face. He's kind of been pretty serious most of his time. Very matter of fact. Cheers. He's holding a can. Can't tell his hands around it, but I would say it must be a beer can. He's going cheers, cheers. And there is a sense of smoke. He's being a little bit serious and not coming forward with a lot of information. But like I said, they don't give me a lot of details in the first place. So if you smell this smoke, I'm just assuming it's cigarette smoke because I do not see a cigar or a pipe or anything like that. So I'm assuming, again, cigarette smoke. Smell that. Validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, ask him to bring you more. He says you have smelled that before. It's like for 2 weeks, every time I opened my eyes when I woke up, I smelled chocolate chip cookies. Never figured out who was trying to say hello. They never would step forward far enough for me to see them, but somebody was trying to get my attention. He wants you to know that he's still around protecting you. He says life is better with, and then he doesn't say anything with, life is better with. Then I hear love. Life is better with love. It's pretty, I don't know. Okay, he says it's time, it's getting to be that time of year to go for walks, to go out and get some fresh air, to, you're going to be drawn to a certain book that you need to be reading. Kind of something along your soul, something about a book in your soul. So if you hear somebody mention a book like that, or you feel drawn to a book like that, go get it. And I just got one, something like that. He's kind of showing me that book. It's in my camper. Seed of the Soul, I think it's called. I don't remember the author's name. Something along that line. Seed of your soul. Darn it. I don't remember. Camper's too far away to go look. Okay, he's talking about a gravy train coming in for you. Usually when they say gravy train, it's like a more abundance, more money. I'm not going to say you're going to win $10 million lottery, but again, that light at the end of the tunnel. So there's something coming, and there will be more abundance, more, he says, where you can breathe. There'll be enough coming, but the light's way out there. So I don't know how long a period of time that means, but it's getting closer. It's coming closer, where you'll actually be able to take a breath and breathe and not worry so much about something. And it feels more like finances, maybe your bills or something. And it could even just be one little bill. It doesn't have to be like a whole mountain. He says he is watching out for you. Now he's showing you stubbing your toe or something, because it's like you're grabbing your big toe, like it really hurts. Of course, he was just saying something about somebody rubbing your feet, but this is like you got a boo boo, got an owie. So if you haven't stubbed your toe, you're going to stub your toe. Well, we all do that, but I think he's trying to validate that he knows that this happened or it's going to happen. So if it hasn't happened recently and it does happen, know that he's validating that. They always ask him to come up with something unique, and that's definitely a little unique. He says, unique up on it, like Bugs Bunny used to unique up on it, sneak up. And he's laughing. He was joking. He's finally laughing. He's been awful serious. Okay, I honestly do not know what he's showing me for sure, but he took some cloth and he shook it, like fluffing it out, straightening it out. It looks white. It looks like about this big. So I'm going to say it's probably something like a handkerchief. Could be a napkin. Showing like maybe there's a monogram. Does he have some handkerchiefs that has his initials embroidered on it that you kept, that you have around for a keepsake. He's shaking it like spreading it out, unfolding it. And then he kind of turns it around. I don't know why he's doing this. But it's not for me to know. It's just for me to tell you. I'm just the messenger. He says, just remember I love you. We're back to being matter of fact. And he just expects you to believe that and know that. He says, and trust that. We will meet again, but not too soon. I will be waiting for you, but not too soon. So rest assured that will happen. And everything is going according to plan. And we honestly do plan this stuff a lot of it. I don't know if we plan most of our life before we get here. I know that may be a little hard to, I have a little trouble comprehending that too, and I do this work. But we do plan who our parents are going to be, where we're going to live, when we're going to leave. We plan all that before we get here. Why? I don't know. I don't get any say-so, but that's what they've taught me. So he says he wants you to know that he left within his plan. So he was supposed to leave at that time. And I always hate to say, when your number's up, but that's kind of the way it is. It's according to a plan, a bigger picture, he says, that will all be revealed when we all go back that way. The bigger plan will be revealed. And again, he says, not anytime soon. Okay, with that, he's walking away. Wow, that's a little out of character. It's almost got it like he's got a little flower girl's basket and he's showing red rose petals. Oh, red tulip petals. It looks more like tulip. It's more like a tulip thing, only they're red. It looks bigger than a rose petal. So if you find random big red, just not the whole flower, just the one little part of it, little petal of it, you can find that in Walmart. It could be a fake flower. It doesn't matter. I find things like that on the dash of my truck when my doors are locked and my windows are up. You might find it on your counter. You might get out of your vehicle to go in a store and there might be one laying there. When I pulled into the place I always go to and I opened the door of my truck to get out, this was laying there. It's a little sequenced heart. Who knows where it came from? But I knew who it was from and what it meant. A couple days later, I found it. I fell asleep on the couch, and when I woke up, it was laying next to the couch. That's just the way those signs work. So know that when they happen like in a kind of weird way like that, if you want to call it that, that's meant for you. Just trust it. Just believe it. What's it going to hurt? And once you kind of get the knack of the signs, again, when you find those, if they're big petals like that, doesn't matter. Validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and tell him you know that those are from him. And ask him to bring you more. Give him permission. So with that, he's throwing the petals. He's even kind of skipping. Now he's being cute. He's skipping along with this little basket, throwing these petals over the back. Like, you're going to find them everywhere. So just trust it when you do. And it doesn't count if you go by a rose bush or tulips and there's a whole bunch of them that have just died. Mm, that doesn't really count. It's usually the random oddball one that will get your attention. You'll understand now when you see it. And maybe you've already found some. My things, I collect them. With that, he's leaving. Much love to you, my dear. He says, I love you. Just, again, just, of course I do, kind of thing. Much love to you. Thank you for being patient. I did lose my voice for a week, and this last week, I was still scratching and couldn't do too many readings at once because it'd make me cough. The more I talked, the more I coughed. The more I coughed, the more I lost my voice again. So I struggled with it for several days. So thank you for being so patient. Uh, Much love to you, Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. Thank you for allowing me to be his voice.